Hello again, guys. This video is going to take up where we left off with the little training batch from our manuals. So you're looking at page 21 or so, and where we left it, we had left it with just the external walls and the slab, which you can see if I hit the 3D all and zoom in and out with the scroll wheel and flick it around, you can see the slab we had. Now I can go back to the 2D drawing by clicking this tab, or on a Windows machine I can hit F2 and that brings me back. Now you'll see that we've got these walls, and when I zoom in the lines are a bit kind of blurred. So if I take my mouse and right click, you can see a thing here called True Line Weight, and it basically makes the lines more distinct and doesn't put in the pen weights that we may use when printing. This one's even got the plasterboard inside. It's not crucially important in my view, because we just want to learn how to draw walls and put them where we want them. Anyway, let's move on from page 21 and go to page 23, and we're going to draw the internal walls. So I'll just zoom all. That's too far out. I'll just go inside the elevation markers. And what the booklet says is go into the wall tool, and I'm just going to double click, and I can go into the favorites up here, and it says to go to the interior stud plasterboard 90. So I'm going to say here's interior stud, and it's actually got insulation, so I'll just go down and see if I can get interior stud plasterboard 90. Just use this one. I can use the I'll just go with this one. Now, if I just apply that, you can see up here we've got interior stud plasterboard 90. If you don't like that one, you can just say interior stud plasterboard, and then we'll just check the story is the right story, and roof, and the layers as we did before. Now, what we want to do this time is not to draw a rectangle, just draw a single wall. And what the booklet says is to kind of put the reference line, or this core center. I think I'm going to leave it on the outside face because I want to make it match up with this wall. So I believe what the booklet wants us to do is to try and draw a couple of walls. So if I go this way, and what I'm going to do is zoom out, gesture towards the other side. I can follow that blue line, but to keep the wall horizontal, just press the shift button, and as you get closer, that little 90 degrees tells us we're going to make a nice gap, and we're actually joined up quite well here. The reason that's joined up quite well, you can see if you go right click, clean wall and beam intersections, and usually the walls you need these dark lines to match. So I could make this wall, turn it around, drag it down, and just drag it down to its here, and then I could actually just stretch that, hold the mouse button over that dot and go here, and I think I can stretch that over the black pencil. Now what you'll see is that it's slightly out of position, so what we could do is just drag it down again, and when you zoom in you can kind of fine-tune these things. But look, again, I wouldn't be too worried about that at this stage of our development. So that wall's drawn. I'm going to draw another wall down from the top one using the, now this time my wall is kind of a little bit out of place, so I'm just going to use this to turn it around to make it line up with the wall above. And again, if I gesture down, you can follow the blue line, or you can press the shift button as you go, and I'm just going to go all the way to here, and I'm getting that nice 90 degree junction. So what I'm going to do then is go back to the manual, and it talks about how we're going to copy a wall vertically to the left. So if I just grab this wall and I say edit, move, drag a copy, and all you got to do is just watch what it says down here, drag reference point, and as long as it's anywhere on this wall, just click here and then say X 1800 minus. and that drags a copy of that wall. Now, what ArchiCAD wants us to do then is to draw a wall midway in here, and they tell us how to do that because they say go up to this little thing here, which is snap guides, and they say we want it to go halfway. So it says set the snap guide to half, but halfway between what? This is going to be intersection points, which is really going to be where this wall intersects the wall above and where these two meet. So if I've set that correctly, I'll just check it again between intersection points. If I hang around in here, you'll see this little lines appear, and it's appeared halfway. Now what I'll do is I'm going to make this go to the center because I want the center of the wall to be halfway. And you'll see the black line is in the middle, and just come back down, you'll get a 90-degree junction again. And that means everything is as the manual shows it on page 24. All we got to do now is start to trim off some of the walls that we don't need. So you know how to do control. And basically, I think that looks more or less like the way the plan is shown. And that's your walls. Hit the 3D, and you can see that we've got internal walls as well as external. F2 takes us back, and I think we've got a few minutes in this video before it gets a bit too long. So I'm going to try and do the roof for you. So what we'll do is go to the roof tool, which is under design, and we're just going to do a single plane roof. So if we double click this and try and make it look the way it does in our manual. So here, and they say 140, which is not hugely important. Timber roof, they say 5 degrees. Let's go 5 degrees. And then let's hit this little single plane roof. So click that, and that tells us we just want to do one kind of single monoplane roof. Down below in the model, roof corrugated light grey, yeah, that works. And then go to design roofs, and I think then we're probably ready to have a go at drawing this roof. So what we're going to do is, again following the book, we just go down, and it says here enter first node of roof pivot line, and that's like the low point of the roof where the gutter would be, and it actually says we have to put it along the inside face of the lower wall. So I'm just going to go here, and you want to make sure it doesn't go above or below that wall, and my method of doing that is to press shift button, and you don't have to go the whole way, just keep it on that axis, click again, and make sure you put the eye above the building, not outside it. Now once you've got that, you should be able to click above, and once we've got that done, I think we can go space click and just click on the outside of this wall, and hopefully we've got a roof now. The way to check that is go 3D all, and you can see we've got a roof. Now the mistake I made with this roof, and it's one that I often make, is that I put it in the wrong story. If you look back at the manual, I made a mistake. So how do we fix it? We just shift click on the roof, and we can do this in 3D. Click here for settings and just change this to the roof story. And we'll go OK. And right away, that roof looks better, but it didn't go the right pitch, so we'll change it to 5. And this begins to look a little bit more like the roof that we want. Now, despite the mistakes, I think we can leave it. It might be ones that you make. So let's go back to the plan. Now what we want to do is make the roof go past our walls. So to do that, make sure you're in the roof tool. To select the roof, we just go shift click, and you'll see it selected the roof. Now what we want to do is just left click on one of these nodes and go to offset all edges. Now what that'll do is we can just gesture outside, but because we want to offset them by a certain distance, just type 450 and go enter, and you'll see that we've now got the roof line outside. 3D all shows us the actual roof now going past the walls. Go back again. One of the last things we'll do on this is try and make our walls meet the roof. So I'm going to show you how to do that before we finish. So back to the plan, go to the wall tool. If you go up and go edit, depending on which tool you're in, you can select all those elements. And because I'm in the wall tool, I go Control A, it'll select all walls. So I click Control A, go to the settings, and I'm just going to make them go what the manual says. We'll make 2 meters above the roof and go OK. Now if we go to the 3D, looks what's happened. So what we're going to do, again, we're in the wall tool, go edit, select all walls, and we want to trim them to the roof and keep them connected to the roof. So this little icon, we just say click. It says down here, click an element to use as a trimming element. So we're going to use the roof as our blade. So we just click here, and then we want to keep the walls below the roof. So if I just click here and click anywhere to deselect it, now we've got something that begins to resemble our batch. So hopefully those instructions were not too hard to follow. I think that video is long enough. So best of luck and see you in class.